All right. I just realized I didn't have my camera in here. So let's see if I can get my camera working. There we go. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Good. All right. I want to get the rest of these rails in today. I want to fix a couple of the problems with this right rail, and define the ramps, because these ramps, I've been thinking about them. They're probably going to be a couple different parts. Uh, this loopy ramp here can probably be two different ramp parts if I design it right, and that would be easier to form. Really, big ramps are kind of hard to do. I mentioned I was going to do this ramp as a two-part thing, but I might redesign this a little bit to whoosh in and over. Again, because that will be easier to have breakout points and easier for bend points also. But first I need to get these other guides in from here. So I want to work on this left or kind of inner orbit guide now, and that will uh, kind of help dictate where this ramp needs to go. That also dictate where this left orbit needs to be. As I said, I do want to kind of cut this tonight so I can start throwing the ball around at the playfield tomorrow at the shop, because I think that would be kind of fun. Um, and this ramp down here, I really think I need to redesign a little bit. Just knowing some changes I want to make. Anyways, this inner left orbit, that is going to be new part. Here, new part called middle guide inner orbit. Yeah, inner orbit out. Just to keep the naming, this is technically kind of the outer of the inner orbit over here. Um, yeah. External file. Oh, this metal guides like everything else, and then start the thing. I don't know how much I'm going to talk during this stream, because a lot of it is going to be the same old stuff as last time. But I may chat a little bit. If comments show up, I may respond to people who start chatting. But again, that doesn't always show up. I don't want to make this now. I want to move this. This needs to move here-ish. Yeah. All right. Show. Convert this. Okay, so this is gonna be a little. This is gonna make. I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make a change to this, because this is really nice and curved, but it makes it really difficult to kind of put mounting points over here. So what I'll probably end up doing is curve this in a little bit more, which is going to change the contour of this ramp a little bit, but that way I can have a straightaway here. So I'm not going to convert that entity, but I am going to convert these two. And I'm also going to unbind it to the other drawing, because, again, I'm going to be doing more manipulation on this than typical. This needs. I definitely want this to be that. Did you fix it? Fix. Thank you. Yeah, I definitely want that to be that. Isolate this now. And yeah, so this I want to curve in a little bit more here. Edit the sketch. This sketch. I want to curve this in a little bit more. So what I'm gonna do actually, so I don't lose what I'm doing, I'm gonna copy this sketch. So it's a duplicate of the sketch. Oh, are you not gonna do a girl? Okay, I'm gonna make another sketch then. And this other sketch is gonna be it's gonna convert this entity. But this other one is gonna be tangent. Where's my tangent? It's gonna come. I need it to end this way. So if I do a center line going here, and I do an actual line going here, so these two things need to be parallel. No, I don't want that. No, I want you to be tangent this, and then this to be parallel to this. Yes, and actually I want to do something slightly differently. I don't want to do that. I want to do that in this first sketch. That way I can make it collinear action. Center. I can be those. Fix that point. Sure that this is tangent. Okay. So that's basically the trajectory I want. So if this is now collinear with that, this, I don't want that to be on there. No, that's deleted it. I don't want to delete it. I want that to not be there. This needs to be fixed. Now this, yeah, so that arc kind of comes like here a little. No, don't do that. This arc kind of comes. Stop snapping, you dingus. Make sure this is 0.5 inches. So this needs to come in. This I'd like to snap there. That makes sense. Okay, so this curve's changed ever so slightly, but it still ends where this other one did, right? I'm gonna fix this and coincide with that. And this needs to be fixed. And it needs to be uncollineared because I'm gonna delete that other sketch and I want no dependencies on that other sketch now. This is now the correct sketch. Delete this sketch. So that's the real sketch. And if I look at, let's unisolate this, show it, and show this sketch here. Oh, what's wrong with you? You're complaining about something. Okay. This needs to be tangent with this, yes. This is fixed, yes. Okay. So now you can see this sketch changed ever so slightly, but at the end of the day, I don't know why that's still complaining. This I can still change. What are you complaining? Really, what? Oh, because of this. Get off of that. Okay, so now I can convert this entity because this is now the the curvature of the ramp because it now hasn't changed. It's still coming off of this. I just have a place where I can mount some, which is important. So convert entity, and this is going to be fixed, so it stays in that, but it's not going to be on that line, because it's going to be a lot shorter, because this just needs to be the entrance part of the ramp, not the whole thing. So I can probably make this here, like, yeah, 0.75, a quarter of an inch. How about 1 inch? Yeah, so that has like a 1 inch entry curve. That'll be smooth enough. So let's see, what is this actually? You are tangent, tangent. You are fixed. If I get rid of fixed there, so how long are you? Make you 7. There we go. So that just changed it ever so slightly, but that also made this a nice even number, because I like even numbers. Oh, hi, Ernie. Ernie, I didn't even know that you sent a message. Now the comments are kind of showing. This is really weird. Oh, there's a refresh. Oh, wow. That's how I refresh. I just learned something new. Okay. I just need to manually refresh every once in a while. Okay. Hi, everybody. I can now kind of respond every once in a while when I refresh. There's a little refresh quickie click thing that I can do. And I guess it'll work. I pop that out. Does that do anything? No, that doesn't. Oh yeah, that does, because then I can take this comment thing. So here's my little commenty stack thing now. I'm still learning, everybody. I'm still learning. I can pull this over to this screen here. Hey, this is a little more easy to figure out. Cool. Okay. Okay, let's hide this again. Now, this has to scooch around on the left side or the right side. Do I want to? Designed to be on the left side. Actually, I forgot where. Ah, right. Okay. So let's isolate this again. Actually, let's hide this. So what I got to do is I got to make sure that this is nice and smooth onto this flipper. That's paramount on this. Because right now it's not. You can see it's kind of going right into the edge there. So what I got to do here is unfix that. Yeah, and I really don't want to screw up this contour that much. But luckily, so these things are fixed up here. So I can move, I can move this willy-nilly and it's not going to be a problem because everything's kind of in there. So if I make sure that this, and I can extend this out a little bit further using, oh, not that. This. This is, in fact, linear. So now that's going to glide right in front of the flipper. Is that what I want? That's a little close. So maybe like there-ish. Because at the same time, I need to worry about the shot like hitting the edge of this piece of metal. So I got to be a little bit careful with that. So now obviously this can't be 7. This needs to be Well, if I fix this up here, this is now correct, I believe. And then this down here needs to be a little bit longer. So 7.25. 7 3/8. I think we'll do it because that'll be kissing right up against this thing. This comes out this way ish, so it won't get in the way of the rubber. I think that'll be fine. I think. So I can fix this. And then doing that, obviously I gotta get rid of that. And then it's happy again. Alright. So now that's coming right down onto that flipper. Like, yay. Right, see how that kind of comes up and around? Yeah, that should be okay. Honestly, I can probably make this straightaway a little bit more straight, but I don't think I need to. Because if I pull this curve in more, that's going to kind of screw up all that. Or if I pull that... Well, if I pull this up more, then, well, this will then slam into that, and I want this to get in and ricochet off of there. Yeah, no, I'll leave this like this. This should be fine. Because that gives me the foot pad over here that I want. And plenty of foot pads over there. All right, so now isolate this. And let's edit the part. We'll add in our... Actually, I don't want to do it on that side because this side might change. This side over here is unlikely to change. I'll do it over here. If I can manipulate this so I can easily do this. All right, so I want a plane here and here. Yeah. This is 1 1/8. This is 1/16. Well, 16. And if I look at this flat, yeah, that's flat. Okay. Sweep. Bingo. All right, rail. Now, this one's going to be pretty... Actually, I should put a couple in-ground points here because of the large sweep of this. Probably just one in the middle here where it's going to slam, honestly. And then I can easily manipulate around. All right, so I need a couple feet. I'm going to do a foot on the very edge because that makes sense for the flipper. And this is going to be a 1-incher. And I'm going to put another one down, another 1-incher over here. There's going to be a lot of slamming along here, so I want more. Oh, this one needs 1 inch. That one might not need to be 1 inch, but the one in the middle here. Again, this is a lot more mounting points than normal along a straightaway, but the ball is going to slam in here a lot because of the targets. And I want to make sure that's all covered. And over here, I have a 1/2 inch. Now the 1/2 inch and the other 1/2 inch pieces are all full. And this guy can be in the middle of these two pieces, whatever the middle is going to be once I get the actual widths of the 1-inchers in. Do this by assigning it to like this guy. And then this and this can be 1 inch. And that'll make sure that that's right in the middle. And now my other center lines for the other mounting points. Oop. And 2 over, or 1 over here. These things are all going to be 3/16. Need this point, but these are going to be equal and collinear. These are going to be equal and collinear. And then all of these are going to be equal in the 3. Yeah, so this has a lot of slam protection against here, which is important. I might... Yeah, I should put something right in the middle here. All right, when I do my next cut, I don't like doing that though because it's on a curve. All right, version 1 I'm not going to do it, but version 2 I might need to do something in the middle down here. But I really don't like doing anything on curves. Makes it a little more difficult to bend. I don't use rollers or anything when I bend. We convert a couple of these. Why you know convert? Convert. These couple pieces over here. Stop it. This this, this, and this. Okay. That's 1/8. My fillets. 32. 2, 3. Nope. Nope. And 3, 32. Okay, and campers. 1/8. This one. All right. With that, this rail's done. Well, it's not quite done, right? Because this over here, this is actually going to have a lift. It's going to come up a little bit, but I won't be able to do that until I figure out what the ramp is. That's a lie. I can figure that out now. Because I think technically I can just chamfer this. I think. Yeah. One inch. $30. Oh, this isn't. Yeah, that's all right. 15 degrees. I think that's fine. I think. No, it's not fine. See that thing right down there? Screw you, chamfer. Eight. Nope. 1, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ah, geez. All right. That's not as easy to deal with. How did I do this previously? Oh, I think I did a sweep cut with one of my other ones. Okay. That means I need a 3D sketch. 3D sketch. And then this is going to be center line. here, here. And be 0.5 inches. Oh no, that's way. That's be 3/8. And go from this corner up to here. And then when I do my sweep cut, I'm going to use this as a... Okay, right, I need another 3. No, I just need a 2D sketch. Okay, so there's my guideline, there's my sweep line. And then now I need my sweep cut shape. Yeah, this is one of those stupid problems. Because it's a curve, I got to do all this mumbo jumbo just to make a slight cut. There, there. All right, so now that I have that, this is gonna sweep cut along here. Here's sweep cut, but it needs to follow a guide curve, which is this. Right? Oh. Um, Come on, put that in there. Follow path. Oh, I got sketch 1, which needs to be sketch 7. 3D sketch, which is this. Okay, I broke something. Hang on. let's try this again. Sweep cut along there. Options. Yeah, the guide curve needs to be this. Maybe I have that wrong path alignment. Okay, I have another idea. How about we get rid of this? How about we cut along this? And then we want to do that. Okay, so that now that's just cutting straight across, which is not what we want. Right? Instead, we want then here, use this as the guide. Guide. Use stop that. Use this as the guide. Hey, wait a minute. Maybe that's doing a little bit more now. So that's stopping right at the bottom there. That does not look like it's what I want it to do. Oh, jeez. All right. All right. I'm gonna try and simplify this by making this 3D sketch more complex. So right now that's just in there, but what I actually want, let's make this into a construction. What I actually want is tangent arc question mark. No. Let's try a 3-point arc. You there. Now let's make you tangent on that. That's what's that doing? Keeping you there. You're like going all kinds of crazy ways. So what I actually want is you to come down. Whoa! Come on. Fine. Undo this. Stop it. Undo this tangent. That's pulling it back into there, which isn't what I want. Um. All right. Well, this is more complicated than I wanted it to be. So I have another idea. How about how about I get rid of this, I get rid of this, I get rid of this. I go on the bottom, I carve this out, convert. So this I said I wanted it to be 3/8 tall. And now I'm gonna try and use a fillet. Not a fillet. I should use a chamfer on this corner. See what this does. Okay, this I think is more doable. Is now see that still has that little nook over there, but on this side at least, I can go here. What is that weird ugliness? Oh, that fillet fucked things up. But I can fix it. Okay, so I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go sketch. I'm gonna grab this contour, this this convert entities. Convert sketch on this. Convert entity. This guy. This one. This. Yes. Convert both of those. A line across here. Now these points though, actually be able to pull this. Why are you being difficult? Pull this. This. Not tangent. I really hate doing this. Well, I'm carving out these bad sections. Screwed cut. Through all. That didn't fix it. Maybe because maybe that's actually fine. I'm gonna check that in a second. I don't feel as though this is correct though. You're snapping. Stop snapping. The angle there. You're not gonna tell me. Yeah. All right. Oh, I know what I can do. Doy. I just extend this. This is tangent. Excuse me. Stay there. This be tangent. Thank you. Now you unfix. You need to be perpendicular. Right. Okay. Now this. Now this I can pull up here because I only want to get rid of that little sliver. And this is going to be properly cut. There we go. Okay. Now I think that's actually going to be properly cut. After all of that stupid manipulation. After all that stupid manipulation, I now have an up curve. This is what happens when you screw around with curves and not straights. Okay. That should cover that ramp. Oh, the ramp starts a little further out, huh? Well, damn it. All right, I'll deal with that later. This at least gives me an idea. And now you can also see, like this flipper down here, this lower right flipper, does have like a perfect shot right at this piece of metal here. But if I want the metal to be smooth onto this flipper, I can probably pull that in a little. Well, I don't want to pull it in too much because then it will definitely not be smooth. No, I don't want to pull that in more. So, I mean, that lower flipper is going to have like a good shot right into this metal bit if it's shot poorly. Like the more ideal thing would be to have this tilted here a little bit more because that would protect, but that also shrinks the shot a little bit. And tilting that up a little bit like that also changes where the flipper is actually aiming. Because now the flipper isn't aiming really at the ramp here. It's aiming a little higher up to these targets. But when this is coming around, it's probably fine. Maybe it doesn't need to be that high. Get down. Just a tickle like this is probably enough. Fix that there. I'm going to put in a little dimple holey thing for that. So I know where to align this. This needs to be the same size as this down here. And in that note, these flippers are obviously not aligned correctly either. So I should make sure this is aligned to there, this is aligned to there, because I kind of eyeballed them when I first put them in. Now I can fix these things. Those are in the correct spots for sure now. Um, yeah, I guess that's protected enough with how those are cut. I guess that's expanded enough. Okay, well, that took far longer. That took like 40 minutes to do that one rail. And it's still not quite done up here. No, it does beg the question, because of where that entrance is, does this really need to go? Oh, it probably does. That probably does. Okay. All right, so now um I'm gonna work on this thing right under here, underneath the ramp and from this flipper. That'll give me a little more view, and I really want this to be more. It really shouldn't be. Um, Well, what if I make it a little straight? That's a big curve right there, but some of that, I think some of that can be straight. All right, I'm gonna work on that piece. So this is gonna be a new rail again. All these metal guys can go into guides metal. New component, new part. Metal guide. Um, inner ramp. Motor. Door. Okay. Um, top plane. Eight. Wait. Why can't I not? I don't know what this E stands for, but let's reopen this. Eight. Oh, door. I don't know what state that was in. All right, in this, sketch to vert this and convert into that. Gonna be fixed. This is gonna be fixed. This tangent. This is gonna be not on there. Gonna be fixed. This not gonna be fixed. So that's the curvature that I need. And I really rather not have all of this be straight. I mean, I have all this be curved, I mean. Yes, it's smooth, but oh boy, howdy, is it a pain in the butt to model, as you kind of saw. This. So what I can probably get away with doing is from this point up, it can probably be straight for an inch. Yeah, I think from this point up it can be straight. If I pull all this all the way down to here. And then this right there, but this is tangent from this. You go here and stay fixed. That's what that straight is like. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that because then that'll also adjust the curve of the ramp a little bit more. Make life a little easier with that ramp. So if I make this 1.5 inches. Um, okay, now that ramp here. How does this affect this ramp? That's what I need to figure. All right, so this does have 2 of those points on there. I'll get rid of that. If I make this like that, then tangent this there. Pull this around so this becomes tangent. So that has a much bigger belly there. I can always need this needs to stay that width. 2 3/8. 2 3/8. Okay. Actually, that needs to be a little bit higher, huh? 2.5. So that has space for this thing to come in. I really rather this belly come up this way a little bit. So I think that's going to be the curve there for that ramp. So I need to make. Oh, I can pull the. Oh. Okay, so this. I make this 1.25. Oh, that's even better. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I think that's good. So now this other sketch here is going to need to connect those dots, kind of. This, or this, needs to not be fixed anymore. This needs to be parallel to this. Like, yeah, okay. Oh, but that's way too curved down. And we have to fix that in a second. But I think that's a. Yeah. Oh, here we go. This needs to be 1 inch is perfect for that. Um, this is on there. I don't want that on there. I do want this to be um that to be fixed. But this looks like this can pull down here. Oh, here we go. 2 inches long. So that gives that curvature there. That gives. I'm going to divide this into 2 pieces. Best way to do this. Guess I can just make another. There. So this is 5 inches. This is 2 inches. One inch. 1.5. Okay, so now where does this entry come in? That's going to come in, and that's going to, if anything, ricochet off this and go up. All right. Pad goes there. That's attached over there. That's probably fine. That's probably fine. That gives me the straightaway here that I want. That gives me a mounting point here. Um, all right, I'm gonna go with that as my guide here. So if you're too low, you're gonna hit this rubber and these targets. This is like a huge opening for this to kind of get in and go in. Right? Like, 1.1 inch. There to probably get off of there. Closer to there. Closer to there. Because the normal is right here. Actually pulls that down further that way. Skips that up and around. A little further up. Yeah, no, I think this will be okay. I think this will be okay. I'd like it better if this was pulled back where it was, but I can't do that without exposing this metal too much. But if you hit here, the speed of the ball coming around here is still going to come. Yeah, I think this is going to be okay. And this really might work fine as a mini flipper. Then I can have this pulled down further and the mini flipper can be down over here. I am going to try with the mini flipper once I actually put this together. Now I do need to isolate this and finish building. I know this is not going to change. This over here is still subject to potential change. So I'm not going to ground things based on the upper part. Whole thing is just 1 inch, so the whole thing is going to be a mounting pad. They want perpendicular. This is 5. Uh, 3/16. The cut. Play this one. 32. 32 on the outside. Grab the outside from here. Of course not. The chamfer 1/8. $45. I did make that change for some other chamfers. And now here, nice thing about this is, like I said, it's flat, so I can easily do cuts. Goes from here to here. It's gonna be 3/8. Through all. One problem. Where is root cut? Through all. Thank you. Here, do a similar sketch. Be offset a little bit. So this is only going to be like 1/8 or 3/16 maybe. This is going to be offset. No, stop that. The from here. Extrude to surface. I want it to be the other side of this. To the surface. Okay, so now here's this other rail. A rail section. And this is probably not the right angle, but I can always go back and fix the angle. Now, one thing I did want to do with this one, because on this ramp, it has this little foot thing. I'm gonna figure out where that actually is later on when after I make the first cut, because I know it's gonna be slightly different. And when I make the cut, I'm not sending these rails or anything yet. It's all gonna be paper, so I'll be able to line things up and figure it out. But I do need to make the through holes for this ramp and the other ramp. So I might as well do that now. Point. The distance for these is 1 inch. What about this other one? This distance is 1 inch. Nice. That's 1.5 inches. All right. That's all right. So if I make 1 inch, yeah. Okay. That occurs on playfield itself in device holes. This, this, this. They're going to be etched. These are both going to be 1 inch. And the hole should be 3/16 is fine. A little large, but it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. Now this comes up here. Be parallel with this. Now, so I get everything positioned the way I want it to. Parallel with really? Parallel with this until I get everything the way I want it to. there. And then because that is 1 inch, I want that from here to here. Oh, wait, no, that's designed based on. Hang on, I need to remember what I designed these based on. That might be the wrong way. Pretty sure it is the wrong way. This is based on. Yep, I'm putting that on the wrong way. Be on this side. This needs to be on this side. Right. So this would be about half an inch from here. Now this would be yeah, half an inch. And this would be half an inch from here. Yeah. Okay, so that's where those pads are. And then the ramp. Yeah, do I have any ramp shelves? Oh, I don't. Okay. Sketch. These are the little pads that the ramps fit in. And this is going to be in relation to these holes specifically. Okay, come out is midpoint. This is going to be also midpoint. These need to be perpendicular. Okay. And I want those to be midpoint also. On horizontal. And this is 1 inch. And this are equal. This is 1 3/4. That gives plenty of space for things. All right, and because of that, I might need to extend this pad ever so slightly more. No, because I already get. No, I already gave myself that allowance. That'll be fine. Yeah, I already gave myself the slop allowance for those curves. Okay, this up here. This is feature, extrude, cut. 3 30 seconds. That's pretty close to 0.1, so I'm just gonna make this 0.1. This is called ramp footprint. That's where the ramps will that's where these pieces of the ramp will go in. There's those footprints. And yeah, I'll figure out this spot once I make this cut. Okay, the final two rails I need to make are the left orbit guides. And then I can worry about the ramps. Oh no, then I need to fix this. I really should fix these pieces before I make the ramp. All right, new part. I don't need these right now. A bit older. So this is gonna be the left side of the left orbit. That with move this here. Yeah, here. All right. Okay. So thankfully, this is gonna be quite a bit easier to deal with. For entity, all this needs to be fixed. There. Angle needs to be fixed. Fixed. Run edge. This is tangent. Is fixed. This is gonna be 2 and 3 5/8. No. What? 2/8. Thank you. This is not. This is fixed. This is gonna be. Oh, that's already 3 inches. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. So there's the rail. The this whole thing could be Mickey Mouse a little bit, so I'll just work on the entrance. And this 1 1/8. This is 1/16. So this end here is gonna have a lift for the little rampy thing, and I'm gonna do it in a little bit of a sneaky way, I think. See what would make the most sense for that. Probably bind 2 pieces on one foot. I can bind both pieces on each side. Yeah, this will be kind of interesting. This will be kind of interesting. All right, so let's actually work on this for a second. Let's not do what I usually do with the footprints. Let's take care of this. Let's sketch on here. So for the ball to safely get over something, it needs to be 3/4 inch. So I need to start off with um, that's going to be like that for the guide. That guide, kind of, sort of. This should be 7.5. This 1.25 is fine. Make this 0.25 because it doesn't need to be that far. All right. Extrude cut. Then on this side, do something like this. And this is actually not fully what it's going to be. Let's get rid of that. Let's also make this flat. That. So this is going to have a, yeah, 3/8 inches probably fine. From here to here needs to be 1 1.25 because we're effectively making kind of a ramp type thing here. This, well, this whole piece is actually the uplift because I want it to be supposed to be that far. Yeah, so this angle from here to here is gonna be the thing in the ball, right? Yeah, because I want an ear up here. There's gonna be 2 mount points over here, and then the metal ramp piece is going in the middle here. Like a little straight bend piece that's gonna go in there. There's honestly no point in trying to form a little lift ramp like this. That's a waste. I mean, I could put little like don't want to do that. Or should I? No, I'm gonna just make it as a little metal ramp. It's just easier that way. So that's gonna be the lift. Root up to surface. So now that I have this, I know where my mounting pieces can be over here. That was kind of the purpose of that. This, I am going to move the mounting piece in a little bit because there's a rubber and I want this to kiss the rubber a little bit. This is going to be 1 incher. That's important. And another mount point over here, as always, right where the curve is. Okay, so this is along a wall. So this is one of those other things where I'm going to have like in cuts for stuff. I don't have to worry about that immediately. And then over here, I'm going to have what's the distance here? 1 3/8. Well, I can probably just put a 1 incher over here. Do two. I'll put 2 1/2 inchers. That way it spaces it out a little bit. Really tweedledee tweedledum because of what's going on here. And also, honestly, this might be able to get pulled in a little bit more so I can have a little more space. I'll find out shortly. This, 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 and then here, this, this, and this are all equal. And they're 1/2 inch. And this is 1 inch. And this is going to be 1/8 of an inch here to here. And just to give a little bit of separation, it might actually need to be 3/16 inch. That way I can get it as close to the rubber as possible, really. Okay. 3/16. And then the bottom cuts. Just a lot of the same. Once you've already designed things, it's just a lot of the same. What the hell is going on there? Okay, so this curve section or this straightaway, as I mentioned, it needs to have a couple in cuts. So I'm going to do one at the start, one at the bottom, kind of like what I did on the other side. And it's going to be 3/4 inch long each. So let's put the middle section in. And this side is actually a little bit longer. I don't think I need more than just 2 sections again, just to make sure the curved pieces keep the mount in place, or they keep the mount in place near the curves, right? When it's straight away, it doesn't matter as much. Here. And this is going to be 3/4. 7/5. This is going to be 3/4. It's 7/5. All right. That will probably be fine. That will probably be fine. Now I do need to make an extra cut over here because that's all chamfered down, which isn't good when I want to bend. Oh, there to there, 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 there. Make this. Yep. 0.25 is probably fine. Cut. Yeah, that was fine on that side. That now allows me to bend. Okay, now I need my extrusions on in the middle here. Sketch. Zoomy, zoomy, zoomy. And these pieces are gonna be, if that's 3/4 out there, these are gonna be 3/8 on the inside. And they're gonna go 3/8 in. 3/8. All right. There we go. Now I can add my chamfers and everything to stuff. Um, uh, in a minute, I'm gonna get up and walk around and take a quick break. But I want to finish this and then I'll do that. That one, B32 here. One eighth goes on all these pieces, including the ones that are sticking through here. All right. Here we go. That's this rail. Now, obviously, this cuts into this piece of metal here, which I'm going to have to do a down cut on, which I can do once I get the other ones. But what I am going to do now is add this two cut. I might need a third. I might need a third little hole right there just to ensure. Um, I don't know. I'll ruminate on it. But to start off with, I do need those through holes over here. Are going to be full linear because they are all on the same thing. Talking about the line can easily be collinear. Thank you. They're also going to be equal in length. They're going to be half inch. And then this is going to be 0.1. That's what I have on this side, right? It was 0.1. Oh, 1.5. Hey, now. You and you need to be equal. There we go. Get you all lined up. Yay. Doesn't need to be 0.5, does it? Actually, it can be 3/8. I'm dumb. Because if it, I said 3/8. Because it's got that extra curve around it, which will allow for the chamfer bits to go. Yeah. It needs to be in the middle. That. Okay, so this is going to be fixed right there. Likewise, this needs to be in the middle. Like, yay. Effectively what I did on this other side. I had a little bit more space there, I think. So I should probably do that also on this. Just to give it a tickle bit more space. There. Okay, so those holes are now done. So that now has a place to go through. Like there. That mounts in, goes in perfectly fine. I think that will be enough for this straight away. I don't think I need a middle piece right there, but maybe I do. You know, maybe I will need to add that middle piece there. All right, top down. That is not top down. This is top down. So theoretically, on this rail, edit sketch. Sketch. Zoom in, please. Really? Really? Damn, my hand is really getting numb. Fucking hate carpal tunnel. Let's entity. Convert these trim this. Features cut and go down 75, so 3/8. And about no. This sketch. What's going on? Hang on. Exit component. What are you doing? This extrude cut. Entry with unsuitable geometry. The hell are you talking about? Who has a dangling extrude cut down 8? Huzzah! There we go. Is that enough? Oh, that's just barely enough. So this side I'll just pull up a little bit more. So 3/4, that's 3, 4, 6, 8. Um, well, so 13, 6, up a little bit more. Just up just up that extra little bit more. And that'll get right up and over there. And technically, this can extend out more too. If I take this sketch, this, and from this height of 1 inch, of 3/4 inches of 7/8. Yep. And this there, this comes down here 1/8. No, here to here 1/8, which means this 3/4. And at the and then let's do a here is 3/8, so 5/8 would be right in here where the ball is guiding. So this really can be 5/8 into 5, because I want this to be a little guide flap. I can then use this guide flap as an adjustment. Make sure that it goes right where I want it. So if I need to, I can take this and I can bend it down ever so slightly, like with a pair of pliers, I can bend it down, and then that'll make sure that this, when this goes at speed, will not hit this post. It'll always go straight into this orbit, which is what I want. And also I have a ramp up here, which definitely now needs be of a certain height there. Because this little nook here is going to be a spot for me to put a plastic and a down flap to guide the ball down before it gets into where this ramp is, which is actually oh yeah, but that's actually really close there, isn't it? Well, this is going to take a little bit more playing around with, I think. But the basic premise is that. So this side might need to be up higher. And this ramp actually, because I wanted the ramp to bind to this. This ramp might need to come down and over more. Yeah. All right. Well, let's just expand it. Either way, I want this little guide flap. I think that's important. Extrude this up to surface. Yeah. Now there's a little flap, and I can't have that lower because then the ball going through this guide won't make it. And really, I probably need to curve that. Anyways, I'm gonna go stand up, do a quick stretch, and then then I'll come back and I'll finish this other guide and start figuring out the ramp situation. So I will be back shortly. Another soda. All right. Let's see, where was I? I also have potato. These potato chips are really good. Um. Okay, the last guide. I need to do this last guide. Then I think it's important to get this inner ramp done because that kind of dictates what all these guide heights and everything need to be, and what the ramp needs to be, and how it needs to go. Yeah, that ramp might need to... Just looking at the sketch where the pumpkin is. Hmm. So I'm thinking about things wrong. If I need to, let's go to this view. If I need to, I can take this pumpkin and I can move it forward because the pole is in the middle. They can cover all this stuff, no problem. There's no reason it can't come forward more, which would then allow this ramp to be a little tighter in more away from this guide. That might be the correct solution. Anyways, I'll figure it out once I make this last guide. But that might actually be the correct solution. That's interesting. Very interesting. All right. So now this last guide is guide metal left orbit inner metal guide, not guide metal. Metal guide. There we go. Keep up with this thing. The origin down to where. Oh, DA. And washer, rinse, repeat. Create a sketch. Convert entities over into that sketch from the previous sketches that I made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That didn't convert. Dummy. 1, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Okay. Exit, but isolate and work on this. Fix your tangent. You are fixed. Tangent. Said you were fixed. You are fixed. Or tangent. Fixed. Tangent. That. What I am going to do here, though, pull this in ever so slightly. Like that. So it's on the other side of the rubber. Fixed. Okay. That entrance isn't going to change. I'm going to make sure it's on the other side of the rubber. Yeah, it is. It's definitely hidden. So this side ain't changing, so I'm gonna make my thing based on this. Um, Now, unlike that other one, again, because this is all with wood, I don't need to do those weird in cuts. I do need to deal with this side. Um, let's see. For that, I need to see the inner orbit. Yeah, see where that cuts. This is where I need to. This is what I need to see. So if I make a sketch that goes in. Oh, yeah. Goes in. Click on it here, here, here. This I want it to be an inch, ish. And what my allowance is. Oh, I guess it's only gonna be half an inch. Okay, well, actually, can I get more than that? Not with what I potentially want to do. Okay, so that's fine. And this, of course, needs to be 7/8, right? No, what did I say? It was 13/16. 0.25 would be enough. And why are you complaining? Oh, you're not in there. So this is going to be my cutout for this. Crude cut all. Yep, that just fits right there, which is exactly what I need. Yeah, so what I was thinking is like along this section here, I might have a stub thing that goes inside of the ground. Because it's thin as it is, and it can easily malform. And I really, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. But that's also where a ball is gonna slam. But for that, you do need to do a sketch. Does need to come up here. Not like that. Not like that. Pull in. I said this was what, 3/8. This is definitely that's not where I measured. This here was 1.25. Right? Yeah. Something like that. Okay. Rude. To surf up to surface. That surface. This surface. Okay. So now, so I can see my mic volume a little bit better because I'm mumbling a little bit as I'm doing this, and I don't want it to be that bad in theory. Okay, so that's this. A ball should not bump into that, generally speaking. Have a pad there. I'll have 3 pads there and 2 pads there. And this is behind the rubber, so I don't need to worry about giving the rubber any space. Three pads on this side. Oh, wow. My mumbling really doesn't catch the mic very well, does it? I just noticed the levels. Oh, geez. Okay, so there's a bunch of things I've been mumbling that I just. Oh, man. All right, I'll try and speak a little louder then. This one's going to go in the middle here. And I can use a point on this that it's attached to the midpoint there. And those are all going to be 1/2 inch. This one, of course, goes here. This is 1/2 inch already, which makes life a little easier because I can just say this, 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 this. All these things are equal and it'll just work. Actually, interestingly enough, I don't have any 1-inchers on here. And I just screwed that up by pressing the wrong thing, didn't I? Yes, I did. Yay, go me. These are all equal. Yay. Those should all be 1/2 inch. Then, like I said, this is the last rail that I know of. There might be some other supplemental guides and rails I need to add in. I don't think so. Once this one's done, I'm gonna make the uh probably the loop ramp, or the inner loop ramp. I think that makes the most sense because that will dictate this height, as I said. And then once I know exactly what this height can be, I can worry about the inner little jump ramp here. Um, which I might. I don't know. I don't think I need to do that. Yeah, I can have it the way it's designed right now. I was thinking I might need to add the jump ramp a little further down, but I don't think I need to. I think it's fine where it is. I'll find out, I suppose. If I do get to a point where I want to be tonight, then I can CNC this today and I can test everything tomorrow. And I'd really like to do that so I know where I'm going to be. 316. Not 315. 316. Yeah. I Oh, that's a cut. I don't want cut extrude. I want boss extrude. There we go. All right, are there any footprint clashes? No, there aren't, so that's really good. Okay, let's do the bottom cuts. Nope, want the bottom. Uh, Convert. Here we go. Two. I probably can hide this other rail. I'm just being lazy, I suppose. Get off of that. It's orthogonal, so that makes it really easy to get these things in place. It looks like these are not correct. Yeah, that's not set. I want that perpendicular. I want this one perpendicular. Don't BS me. This and this. Perpendicular. And finally, this one. There we go. That's easy peasy. One eighth. $32. I might be wondering why I do the innards always first and instead of the outside. No particular reason. it's just habit. I can very easily do the 3 30-second first, and sometimes I do alternate, but meh, tweedledee tweedledum. It really doesn't matter. On bigger curves, though, it does matter because you might cut off part of your part if you do the larger curve before the smaller curve. But in this case, it doesn't matter. It's just habit I've gotten into. All right, and that's this rail. Now, in theory, we have everything, all the major shots defined. I don't have the dimples in there. I do need to put the dimples in. Like I said, I want to add a little cut in here. I need to remove these holes. Oh, God damn it, my hand is getting too numb to use this sometimes. And move, zoom, rotate. Yeah, these few holes I need to get rid of. These four. That I can do by just I can keep the holes there. I can just turn them into guidelines instead of like actual lines. But the dimples are important. Without the dimples, I won't know where to put the paper rails. All right, so I don't need to see this anymore. I said I don't need to see this anymore. All right, good. So this is what we're looking at so far. And yeah, this ramp I'm a little concerned about because of how close it gets here. So if I do pull that pumpkin in more though, that is device. Actually, how big is that pumpkin that I mentioned? It's 7. Okay. Device holes. The reason I wanted to know is I'm going to make it a guide curve here that's 7, just so I can see. When I take this, move it to here. Yeah, see all that extra space that's there? Because technically, all it is, maybe not that far, maybe like over here. I do need space for that ramp. Yeah, that looks quite a bit better. Now I have space to curl this ramp in a little bit more to get it away from this lift, which is my biggest concern. If I go to this ramp, that is the inner ramp. So I know I like this curve, so I'm going to fix this so that doesn't change. However, this I do want to change. I do want to pull this in. No, 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 no. You want to pull this. Can you please let me pull this? I pull this in like here. That's still just missing the pumpkin. And what I could do, I could pull this. Maybe not. Oh, I'm mumbling again. I don't know if the mic picked that up. I said I can move. Stop it. Come on. Let's edit this. Show me the. Thank you. Um. Yeah, this. I think. If I unfix this, then this can. Oh, I don't like that really at all. Or do I? Because the flipper is never going to hit that directly, so that's probably no. But the problem is, if I change that, now how does the how's that with relation to the pumpkin? Oh, that goes right into the pumpkin. That's no good. It's no good at all. Right, I need to that showing while I modify this. Yeah, so this I think is going to end up becoming a straightaway also. No, yeah, a straightaway. And it's tangent to this. Now I can manipulate this a little bit more, but I also need to make sure that this stays the proper width. Just, no, stop selecting the things I don't want you to select. Now, yeah. Um. Anyways, you kind of see what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to fiddle with this, so it stays kind of a minimum constant distance around there. I think this is the direction I want it to be. And then this can curl in more over here. I can worry about that later. Anyway, that cleans up that line a little bit, which also potentially means, well, I can't double clean that. Yeah. Let's unfix this. This now curves in like this. That gives me a lot more lift here also for this curve. So it doesn't have to go up as quickly. Um, yeah, let's. This is still really close here. And I think a lot of it has to do with this. So I'm going to get rid of this. I want to pull this in quite a bit more. And I keep a constant distance from here. So maybe I take this. That'll ensure that stays around there. And this can come around here. I'm still getting to like minimum issues on this. But it's a little better. All right, so the distance here, let's make a parallel, or let's make whatchamacallit, tangent on here. Want this to be perpendicular. This to be perpendicular. Okay, so now this is gonna end up being 1.5 again. Now I can manipulate this a little bit. And right off the bat, you can see compared to what it was originally, this is already basically missing that. So this is a lot better. This is a lot better. And there's a spot right here now that I can mount this, which is good. Pull this straight. I put that on there and this on there. Oh, get go on there. Merge for the bloody hell. This needs to be perpendicular or tangent. This needs to be tangent. All right. So this is now equal to that. Oh yeah, you're gonna complain about that because it's already equal to. And these are parallel. Okay, so this is already looking a lot better for mounting. Because I can have a post right here and right here. I can have a height post right here to ensure this is now at the height it needs to be. And I can also potentially mount over here. And I have enough space over here too, which pull this in, pull this down again. Yeah, that's kind of kissing that a little bit. That's good. Pull this in and down. That does not need to be as smooth over there. Oh, I see what I was doing there. What's fixed? This is fixed. Why are you complaining when I unfix it? I put that there. Actually, by this point, it can drop down. Yeah, that can drop down by that point because this needs to be 1.5 inches up. This might be able to be 1.5 inches up. I'm gonna define it to be 1.5 or 1.25 inches up. That might be fine. Means I can probably make this smoother again. Because that length can be. Yeah, I mean that might be okay. All right, let's define this ramp for realsies now. So that's going to now be a new part, and it's going to be the first ramp that I make. Ramp, plastic, inner loop. New folder, ramps. All right. Yeah. So this ramp is. Oh yeah, I got to do. Excuse me. Mate that to the. Oh yeah, I'll mate it to the top for now. That is gonna change. And then the origin, that someplace that makes sense, maybe like here. Okay. Ramp you at a component top sketch ramp inner. We're gonna convert entity. Okay. Exit sketch. Yeah, well, definitely the ramp. I don't really want it to be down by the end of these because this is going to change quite a bit. So I'm going to go through and fix all of these things. That way I can adjust them later on. I'm pretty sure this section here I'm now happy with, but it's still difficult to know at times. You want to add all these cross lines again because it makes it really easy to make adjustments if I need to make adjustment. One. I need to make adjustments. And the goal of this right now is to make sure everything stays in place without the need for being attached to edges. And this section down here is all going to be mutable, or somewhat mutable. Actually, this right here, now that I'm remembering, can't be because this has to go underneath the ramp. So this needs to be fixed right there. But other elements in this can be mutable. Tangent. And once I finish all of this, I'm going to show all relations just to make sure I'm not missing something. So the relations like this, that tells me if things are the way they're supposed to be. This should all be equal. That ensures the width stays the same all throughout the thing. All right. So now that sketch isn't dependent on anything. So let's extrude. Not quite. I almost did something wrong. I almost did something wrong. Because this, unfix this for a second. unfix this for a second. This actually needs to be not 1.5 because that's the width that I want it to be. Nah, I guess 1.5 is fine because I use 1/8 material, so that 1.5 is going to trim down to 1 3/8. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Okay, so extrude is gonna be 1 1/4 inch tall. And huzzah, we already kind of have a ramp. Now I always add at minimum a 1/2 inch flange around things. So let's do that. Flange is offset entities 0.5. This will also tell me if it's moved in enough for the pumpkin. Which it might not be. I might not be able to do a 1/2 inch flange around everything. Okay, and features extrude. This is 1/8 inch. There's that. Now for funsies, now obviously this isn't fully done yet. I'm just gonna add a couple things just for fun, just so you can kind of see what it's gonna look like. So there is gonna be a 1/16 inch curl on the insides of this. And there's gonna be a 3/16 curl on the outside of this. And then I can gel. Going to be a 1/8 inch shell. All right, so here's kind of a ramp, a basic ramp. Now notice I didn't add any lifts at the front. Well, I'm going to make this flat and I'm going to bend it because plastic is very bendable. So why overcomplicate your design when you don't need to? One more thing I am going to do is I'm going to add a material, plastic, low gloss, dark gray. Because these are going to be basically black ramps. Okay, so now that's obviously flat and too low, right? This ramp needs to be 1 1/4 inch tall, so or high. So I'm going to unfix this, and because I built everything off of the top plane of this ramp, and I built up, and I already have a mate with the top plane. I can edit this mate. I can say it's going to be offset by 1.25 off the ground. And that now throws the ramp up to roughly what it's going to be like in the game. Right? So now that we have this, and let's fix this again. I can come in and I can measure and I can say, okay, how high is this really? So if I take an evaluate and I measure from the top of this to the top of the playfield, that says it's 2 5/8 up that I need to make. So let's look at the ramp we're going to be using. You can't see this easily, but I'm going to place this flat on the table and I'm going to measure from the bottom to the top of this to see if that's 2 5/8 at least. Because if it is, then we're good. And from what I'm seeing right now, this is not 2 5/8. This is 2 1/4. 2 1/4 is not good enough. That means I got to make some adjustments with my my height expectations, basically. Um, and it would occur right over in here. So 2 1/4. So that's 2 1/4. And then if I again measure from this to this, that's 1 3/8. So 1 3/8. Go to calculator. 1 in 375 minus 2.25. That is not ball height. It's not ball height in the least. So that's a problem, right? Which means the ramp might not be able to do this. At least not easily. So I gotta ruminate a little bit on that. That is if it's 1 1/4 inch high. And this is 3/16 too high. Hold on 1 second. My music ended. I do have music playing in the background. Okay. Yeah, so that's not gonna work. Because 3/16 is gonna be just way too tight. Damn. Okay, so what's a good solution for this? Well, solution one is not to use that ramp there. But I really want to use these ramps. Solution two is to reroute this looping ramp. Which is honestly probably what we need to do. Um, yeah, I think I need to reroute this ramp. Now the $1,000,000 question is it going to block view of this flipper? And I reroute it. And survey says probably. Looking at this. That ramp comes down here more and across. Yeah, damn. That's not ideal, is it? Okay, option next. if I rotate this ramp a little bit, go up, and get in the way of the flipper. For sure. Um, I still won't have enough space over there for what I need it to be. Because I need the ramp to be almost going this way. And that's not acceptable. Okay. Option 3, which is a little bit silly, is to take another one of these ramps and put it over there. Because this loops back onto itself. And then it can loop over to where it needs to be on this ramp. That might make the most sense in this case. If I zoom in on this and make sure this ramp or this where's it, guide ramp, one, there-ish. That seems too small. Hang on, I'm working on getting sizings right. Yeah, it's too small. Okay, so this going right here, there's plenty of space for this. Yeah, and here, let's take this. I'm holding this. This is the right size, like 1-to-1 over here. Let's see if I'm gonna let the image kind of catch up so I can see what I'm showing you. Yeah, okay. This is the correct size over here. So if I put this over here as well, you can kind of see where the ramp is. It should fit fine, and there's even a good spot for this little mounting point, like that mounting point right there, where my finger is right here. The footprint here and here are both the same. And then I can loop back in. I think I'm going to use 2 of these. Yeah, I think I'm going to use 2 of those. So unfortunately, I have like 12 of these, so I can't use these on this, but I can have these at my shop for people to use. It does put a damper on some of this, like the number of things I want to make, so I might not be able to make as many. But anyways, it is what it is. So I need to get this sketch and put this sketch over here. So left ramp needs to hide. Right ramp. So 1 2/4. So I'm effectively going to recreate this over here. So I know where my things are. Fine. I don't know why the lines don't always work the way I want them to. This and this are equal. This is no. This perpendicular. This, and this. This and this is perpendicular. This and this are equal. this and this are equal. This and this are perpendicular. And this here is 3 1/4. Okay. Also, this needs to be linear to. Really? Why? You complaining about here? This and this should be collinear. Thank you. This and this should be collinear. Yeah. Thank you. In the middle there. Okay. In the middle there. Okay. Um. So that's those. Yeah, you can see how much space I have on this left side now. So it's the height is not a problem whatsoever. And in fact, I can make this ramp even higher now. Let's see. The exit of this is, again, I'm putting this on the ground here. That's like, oh wow, three. That's like 3 3/8 high. Holy cow. Okay, yeah. So this from the ground to here is like 3 3/8 inches. When I measured it from there to, actually it might even be higher. That's that's closer to 4 inches. Jesus. Now that I'm looking at it straight on like this. Wait a minute. I need an accurate. I need accuracy. Hold on. You know, it's about 3.5, say. A lot taller than this thing, which was yeah, like 2.5. This thing was 2.5. Wait a minute, 2.5. You see, okay, here's a problem. This ruler has this little nub on the bottom, so it doesn't actually start at the very bottom. I should maybe trim that off. Do I have pliers here? Um, Maybe this will work. Where's my inch? Oh man, come on. There we go. All right. No, it ripped off part of the. Well, so much for this ruler. Actually, I can use the other side. Let's try to trim it the other side, because it almost worked. Okay, there's one bit. I'm gonna trim it slightly slower this time. Okay, I think I got it this time. Okay, yeah. So I trimmed it on this side. I just need to go in reverse. I'm going to be going from 12 to 1 instead of 1 to 12. But all right, so I cut this more flush so it's more so at the actual height. So now let's see what this actual height is. So that the real height of this is 2.5. All right, 2.5, which makes more sense. Which actually means this ramp will be fine. Uh, evaluate from here to here again. That's 2 5/8 because of the thickness of the material. But I could pull it down a tickle to make it 2.5. There's nothing wrong with that. Hmm. And actually, from here to here, that's 1 1/4. Um, yeah, I could pull this down and comfortably. Can I? Oh, no, I'm going on a tangent at the moment. No, because that just kisses right above that. If I make that any lower, then it's not going to get past the posts. Ah. Well, but ah, 2.5, 2 1/4. That's what the ball can fit underneath that. You know what? I bet it's gonna be fine. Well, no, but this sinks down an extra eighth of an inch. Hang on, that sinks down an eighth of an inch. That changes some things because if that goes down an eighth of an inch, instead of it being 2.5, it's 2 3/8, and then that's 5/8 up. That's gonna be too much. I think it's gonna be too much. If I don't have a footprint on that, if I don't have a footprint, that's gonna be a problem. Because then the flap will get in the way of things. Yeah, I can't. I'm gonna have to use the loop back ramp. We need to use 2 loop back ramps. Okay. That's fine. But that does also mean this can be higher. For sure. Okay, let's exit out of this sketch. Let's make this, unfix this. Let's pull out this. Let's make this higher. Like, because 2 inches. That'll also add visibility too. Because the higher the ramps go, the easier it is to see under it. Okay, see how much easier it is to see where the ball's coming from over here? Um, 2 inches might be too high. maybe 1.5 inches. Okay, so that is probably 1.5. I think I like a little bit better. At the same time, so one thing to note, like whenever you raise a ramp and you want to flex it, for every like half an inch you go up, you have to increase like curvatures and things by like a quarter, a 16th to a quarter of an inch. So technically, this ramp is now not in the right spot. So to fix that, technically, this curve needs to be a little bit bigger. I mean, it gets a little finicky, right? Because it looks great here, but this is again in 2D. The easiest way to solve that, obviously, is to model it in 3D, but then you need to convert the 3D to 2D and make offsets and everything. Uh, so in the case of this, this this section here, where my mouse is, all the way around here, this is the problem. So most of it isn't going to be going out. Most of it's going to be coming down. Let's see if I can get an example. Yeah, all right. If I use this ruler, and yeah, all right. Let's see if this works. Don't mind me while I gyrate a couple things for a minute. All right, if we look down here, so if we look straight down, here, come on. So if we look straight down here, this is now flat on the table, right? And let's take this. So this is flat on the table. So right where this pen is, would be like the top-down view, kind of like what we're doing. But if I raise this up a little bit and then bend down, and the pen hasn't really changed position. But now if you look over here, well, that didn't give me a, hold on. The pen is right here at the 6, right? So if I raise this up, now, and then bend down, you can see the distance that's different, right? And I've raised it up about an inch. So it is off by just a little bit when you start raising things up. And that has to be taken into consideration when doing this. So in the case of this ramp, it is going to need to come down and to the right a tickle. The right doesn't need to happen too much, but it does need to pull down a little bit. So if I go into my my sketch here, this initial sketch, if I unfix this, pull this down like to here, that's going to kind of offset that. Okay. And then let's fix that. And then the other thing that needs to happen is this whole curve needs to kind of move over. Really not much, but that's kind of dangerous, right? So the safest way to do that in this case is to take everything here on the left and just push it out by such a little bit. It's not even... So all these things are No, this is fixed right here. This is what's preventing a lot of these, or these other fixed too. Sure that. So all of these right here, everything here, this needs to move over to the left a tiny bit. But not down. You see, if I just extend this way, that's going to pull it down, which is not what I want. So I need to unfix this. What else is preventing this from moving? This? Shouldn't be this. Okay. So now this needs to move. Not that. This needs to move like. No. I need to zoom in quite a bit. Because this needs to move over to the left. Like this. See that? So that adjusted some of this curve up here. But it's going to effectively be the same thing. It's just a tickle shifted over. This is kind of really important. Now I can fix this again. And then when I'm done with this. So now that did push everything over here. If I take this ramp and pull this ramp over. Oh, I need to take this ramp and pull this ramp over a little bit to line up to line this section up again. So now you can see everything's kind of shifted here, but I need to not go by that. I need to go by the initial sketch that I have here, this inner ramp sketch, because that's really where it's going to be. But you can see how it's kind of shifted ever so slightly. So when I do finally flex it down, it'll now flex back in onto itself the way that I expect, right? And then I'll fix this again. So I need to go by my sketch, not by what the actual ramp is. It's a little wonky, and in reality, I probably need to pull this down a tickle more, like this. So that gives me the flex down that I need and the flex over that I need. Yeah, so you can see all this extra curve that's going to curve in onto itself a little bit. Anyways, this is why I needed to make sure that the two sketches were separated. Otherwise, really bad things were going to happen when I tried to make the legit thing. And you can see this is still a little wrong here, so I need to adjust the position of it by floating. And I should probably show this. That way I can line these up better. Because these things didn't change. So if I line this right back up onto this effectively. Fix this again. So now you can really see this does just come out ever so slightly. You know, it just comes out ever so slightly around here, which is all that's needed. The only thing that's a lot further down is the actual end point, because when the end point bends, it will curl in. This is really like a quarter of an inch. No, actually, I think this is like half an inch. That's too much. So it's finicky. So like there, it's really very finicky. And yeah, there are better calculations I can do for this, but oh well. Anyways, this should fit fine. This should be where I need it to be for half an inch up, which is good. Now, there does need to be an entrance to this ramp, and obviously this ramp needs an exit over here. Likewise, I do have this ramp, so I want to do this ramp now. because this ramp will also dictate a little bit of this guide. Oh, and the whole point of doing this first ramp was for this guide. Now you can see this, the ball is going to be perfectly fine over here. When I add the little hat on top of this that helps direct the ball down, it won't hit the ramp. It'll be right underneath without a problem. It'll be all good. And the ramp is also very, very smooth. Nice curve smooth going up and around. It'll be a nice clean ramp. Okay, so let's hide inner ramp sketch. And now I need to work on this outer ramp. Now this outer right ramp, you can see it's kind of kissing up against this backboard. I'm going to be cutting a hole in the backboard to allow for it. First things first, save everything because I did make quite a few changes. Create a new folder. Call this ramps plastic. I'll just call it ramps. All right. This tangent arc I don't need to look at anymore. That's taken care of. This device holes I don't need to see. That's taken care of. Okay, this is the right plastic ramp. Okay, so in a similar manner, most of this is going to stay the same. It's just this whole section is going to need to really just shift over to the left more because it doesn't have as much of a curvature. This is already kind of coming down a bit, which works in its favor because if you go up slowly, it will still have a little bit of a slant, and that's kind of why I did it the way I did. And because of how I made this now, I could actually... Well, no, because I want a mounting point right here and right here. That's why I didn't do that. Not yet, no, don't. Well, if that curves become... No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna fuck with it. I'm happy with it. Okay. We insert components, new part. I called this what? Ramp plastic. Ramp plastic. Right. A. I'll call it right A because I think I want this to be two different ramps. I mean, technically, I kind of want this one to be two different ramps, but I think I definitely want this other one to be two different ramps. So I'm going to call it right A for the time being. I'm going to move it. Move it. Here we go. Put that in the middle-ish there. No, because if this is A, it should be higher. Okay. All right, now I got to go through this. This has a lot of little pieces, and I, yeah, because of the horse. Yeah, so this is the section I care the most about, really, at least right now. Just make everything tangent with everybody else right now, and then I'll go back and I'll remove all the other associations because this takes a while to do. Well, I guess it doesn't take a while. It's just more tedious to do than I enjoy. Now this might be easier if I just view all relations and then just click and delete it, rather than trying to manually do it. You'll see everything's gonna turn blue. That's fine. I'll take care of that shortly. Just don't want associations with the other sketch for the same reason that you just saw. And I'll add in all these cross points. That way it'll ensure that it stays the widths that I want in various locations. Okay. Sure that stays there. Good. Yes, there's still some ambiguity, but this will take care of most of it. These I want to fix, sure, because this is that entry curve. This I want to fix because that's that back wall. Now this I'm going to unfix because that is ultimately going to come forward a little bit, but not yet. That needs to fix because that's the distance to the reverse ramp. So that's important to keep that. Okay. Let's take this, features, extrude, the 1.25. Oh, yeah, the one change I do need to make is the entrance over here. Because this entrance needs to be a little bigger now to accommodate the guide. If I exit isolate, you'll see the guide's on the outside. Excuse me, the guide's on the outside. I need the guide to be on the inside. So this obviously needs to change ever so slightly. So I pull. This whole thing needs to. Yeah, this is gonna be fun, ain't it? Now these 2 points, I need to pull there. This pulls down I don't want to pull that down really, but I do want to expand this. So let's fix this. Nope. Fix this. Now I can pull this down. Why can't I pull this down? Because no. No. Okay. Something's not happy here because I also have this on here. Yeah, it was. Okay, because I need this here. This here. Oh, now I can make this actually the distance I want. 7, 5 is good. Okay, and this is now definitely in the back wall. Can I pull this down from the back wall a little bit? Yeah, all right. See how this just naturally kind of became flat again? You're not gonna like that. Okay, so this is where clearly this can't be tangent arcs there. This has to be here more because this needs to be 1.5 inches here. There's no question about that. That's set like that. So yeah, here's the straightaway. Tangent. Okay, you like you to come in a little bit more. You're gonna fix. Okay, so now why? What association is this? That tangent and that tangent. What association is this? It's got that tangent. So what I don't understand is why I can't. This isn't fixed here. Oh, is it because that's fixed? No. This is associated with something. Get this is 100% associated with something, so I need to delete that so it's unassociated. Now, this is the tangent that goes here. Because I want, yeah, I want something more like this. Yeah, I think I want something a little more like this. Right? Because then that gives that curve on the outside nicely. And remember, this is kind of flat, but this whole thing is a lift. Curving from this. That's not really going to be a problem. Okay. I'm gonna leave this as this right now, because I think this will work. I really um can we not do that, please? So if you're curious why I'm making this sharper, it makes the flex a little bit easier. Especially now that I have this curvature, which is slightly different from the other one. It'll just, the more 90 degrees something is, the more easily it is to kind of bend down in some cases. I mean, if I pull this way the fuck down there, then that... No, I think I want it more like this. If I do that, I am... Okay, you need to stay there now. What association is... There's some things that are bloody associated with stuff that is not desired. When I move this thing up and down, I should not move that other... Yeah, there we go. Vertical. Vertical, thank you. Looks a little weird, but again, this is all going downhill. I think this is going to be fine. Actually, this might be what the problem is, because if I pull this... Oh, you need to stay fixed. There. Fix. And I can pull this downhill a little bit. Yeah, I think this is what I'm looking for more. These need to be slightly disjoint. We'll leave it at that. I think that's probably fine. That gives me a spot over here to mount, a spot over here to mount. I think that's going to be fine. Okay, exit that. Because that's... I'm still not a fan of that. Because if that's going to be lower, it has... No, it has to be of a certain height in order to get past the launch lane. So, right, let's get this lifted. So if the launch lane sends you up 3/4, then that's a minimum of 2 inches for this. Yeah. Because 1.5 would not be high enough. So maybe I do want that because then I can certainly flex this down and be out of the way of everything. Maybe I do want that. All right, we'll leave that as that for now. But with 2 inches, that definitely means this section here is going to need to be updated a bit. It's going to need to be pulled out probably back to here and over more. But luckily I have this straightaway that I can use for Mickey Mouse in that. All right, let's re-isolate this. Add the flange. I need to check the flange on the other ramp to make sure it doesn't get in the way of the pumpkin. That's right, I almost forgot about that. Flange, edit component. This is, yeah. The linear. This needs to be collinear. Okay. You can see some of these points are really tight because of how the offset worked. And that's fine. I can always go in and modify that. Crude 8 because this is a 1/8 stock that I'm doing. Now with my fillet, I can go in and I can make this 0.5. And I can adjust these inner sharp pieces. Make sure that they're makeable. Anything more? I think those are it. Okay. Then again, just for visualization, again, I don't think this ramp obviously isn't fully done yet, but play of 1/16 on the inside. Right there, I'm going to do on the inside rail, and on the inside rail, then a fillet of 3/16 the outside rails. All right, and we'll shell this. Okay, and the art itself, I want it to be low gloss, dark gray again. Okay. Oh yeah, that's pretty high up there. Let's hide the right plastic ramp sketch because we don't need that anymore. All right, so there looks like there might be a clash over here. No, that'll be fine because this is gonna be a lot lower. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot lower, so that's okay. That'll be almost underneath this. It will be underneath it. Worst comes to worst, I can always shave off a little bit of this part of the ramp, because it's just all part of the curve. Okay, so now let's also check the pumpkin sketch to see how this ramp interacts with that. That would be device holes. And this ramp flashes in this corner, kinda. But that's okay. Because what I can do, since this is fairly mutable, I can just kind of put this like here. And then this is going to be fine all the way around, because remember, the pumpkin is actually like 6 inches or something, and I wanted just the extra space. So that's fine. That's not going to be an issue at all with this. Okay, and yeah, this has that come in right there. So this would need to come in kind of over there too. If I take this like this, now obviously I want to be able to mount it on this, kind of like I can mount here on that. So I'll adjust that in a second. Parallel. Five. This comes up to here-ish. Also 1.5. Perpendicular. This needs to be perpendicular. Okay, this can be curved. Curved. That kind of. These are perpendicular to this. Perpendicular to this. Why are you complaining? No reason to complain. This is perpendicular to this. This is perpendicular to this. Okay, so that makes that all equal. That's in there. And I can trim this add a fillet right in here. That 0.5. Don't move like that. We'll add a fillet. Add a fillet down here. Make this 5. So that covers that. There's that part of the ramp. Pull this down. I'll be a little wonky there, but edit this. Oh no, not that one. And edit this. And do the same thing I did on the other side. Make sure this is linear with that. Then add the fillet, the 0.25 fillet. 2 of them here. Here. And the one right here. And then pull this down, and I'm going to be missing one particular strand because that you also need to be there, and you need to be there, and then the shell need to have the front face here added there, and then there we go. There's this ramp. Now how does this thing actually look? So this is pretty nice, so I can just make the ramp kind of go across in the front. So that will remove the need to deal with all of this garbage. Because this is not a fun thing to cut out. But that's ramp details I can do later on. So okay, so there's those ramps. They don't block anything worth seeing, which is good. The final thing I need to come up with, at least right now, and then I'll probably call it a day. I did a decent amount right now, or today. Good, almost 4 hours. I do kind of want to figure out this piece right here. And then I'll think about whether I want to add the dimples in or not today, or I mean, if I don't do it today, then I can't cut it tomorrow. I guess that's fine. I can always wait till Tuesday to do another stream, to get all those final little dimples in and all the other little niggly things. Because I still don't like this right ramp's exit, and this left ramp obviously has no exit. Nor does it have the ball lock I want over in this corner underneath here, which may not fit with where that is. I'll have to. Well, it might just fit. Either way, I might need to play with that a little bit. Because I do have a rectangle target there, I might need to pull it out a little bit more and use a circle target. But yeah, this is kind of how it's looking so far. Everything is visible. All your shots are visible when you're looking down at it. Your left or inner loop shots visible. Your right orbit, your left orbit is a little hidden, but in real life it'll be fine. And I can always wiggle this ramp a little bit more to make it more visible. Both of these ramps are visible. This inner ramp entrance is a little hidden, especially when I have the loop back ramp in there, but it's visible enough, I think, to make it hittable. So yeah, that's all doing pretty good. Yeah, okay, so you can see this is all chopped out back there. That's gonna require obviously the back being trimmed out a bit, but that's fine. I can cut out like a whole like ear ish going up. Not a whole lot that needs to be trimmed out. It's like half an inch up to uh probably 2 inches up because this is a very long upward slope for this thing. But since it's right in the middle, it should be fine. Actually, you know what? It has been 4 hours. I'm gonna call it a day. I am getting hungry. I kind of want to go play some games instead of just make some. So I hope this stream was useful for those of you who are watching it. Uh, as always, I'll download it and I'll get things up on YouTube later on. That way, it's not lost. Uh, what I will probably do tomorrow at some point is print up the schematic just so I can see what this looks like in real life. Oh, and yeah, well, I might not. I don't know. Maybe I won't print up the schematic until I have everything else done on this that I want done. I don't have the dimples done. I don't have that other lift ramp done. I still want to manipulate these other ramps a little bit. Anyways, my real goal, I was hoping to be able to see it today. It's not really going to happen. I got pretty far, but it's not really going to happen. Um, Next weekend, I want to have parts in. I want to have 3 flippers in so I can actually flip this thing. I do want to CNC this next week. It's getting to the point where it's CNCable. I gotta order, let's see, 3 flippers and 8 targets from Pinball Life or Marco or wherever I'm gonna get them. I already have all the posts that I need, I think. If not, again, I can 3D print them and I can kind of Mickey Mouse it for the time being. So, yeah. And I really don't want to form the ramp. I have plenty of plastic and plenty of wood to make the ramps, but I don't want to form them until I'm more satisfied with the main shots when I put paper on it and just check it out for the first the first time, because it is a lot of work to make a ramp and it is not expensive, but it's expensive enough to get the metal pieces sent out that I really don't want to do that until I know for sure it's it's in a good spot, you know. But yeah, okay. I hope everybody enjoyed this. Whoever watched it, either now or in VOD land, and um, have a good night. Bye.